What's up, you guys? Nick Armstrong here from PWRestlingUnlimited.net, managing editor of PWRestlingUnlimited.net. God, I love doing that. That's so fun. We're back with another edition of the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. Joining me, as always, my cohort, my spiritual successor, my
boss.
By all technicalities, my boss. Tim, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just waiting to go get PWU 2K19.
You're waiting, and Sean's waiting to learn how to play it.
No, well, anyways,
this week we're going to do it as we always do, kick it off with the Raw and SmackDown notes. We're going to have an interview with Abyss, and we've got some stuff to talk about Access and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So let's kick it off with those Raw and SmackDown notes. The title of this week's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw was, quote, Dean's Dilemma, obviously titled after the choice Dean Ambrose is making between the Dogs of War and the Shield. More on that in a second. Quote, Women Glow, Men Plunder was the working title for WWE SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live was originally supposed to end with a couple of graphics promoting Saturday's Super Showdown event and not a live shot of the two wrestlers backstage. No reason was given for the late pivot, but WWE has made an effort to make their production info significantly more secretive as of late. Now, I want to go back real quick to the whole Dean's Dilemma thing, and I want to talk about how bad of an idea that would be to have him turn anytime soon, at least anytime before the Royal Rumble. Now, you just got the, for lack of a better term, nostalgia factor still in your palm. You have the idea of hearing the Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta as all of the Shield walk down together, because you can realize that a lot of those people still like them. Yes, they want that Dean turn, but that Dean turn is going to fall extremely flat once people realize, oh, this makes no sense why he turned. Okay, yeah, he turned, and okay, cool, but who's he going to go after? Roman for the Universal title? Kiss that goodbye, because you know he won't win that. Seth for the IC title? Well, someone's got to make that IC title feel important before Dean picks it up, because he's going to be basically picking up a bag of dirt and rocks trying to make it gold when he can pick up a thing of gold and make it double gold. I don't like the idea of him turning as of right now. There needs to be some more seeds planted. Have a little bit more teasing. Even if I don't like it, go ahead.
They teased it too much. It ain't going to happen this weekend. I mean, they're posting on Instagram. They're posting on Twitter. Who's Dean going to side with? Is Dean going to turn on the Shield? Is Dean going to challenge Roman? Is Dean going to challenge Seth? They're teasing it way too much for me to believe that it's going to happen anytime soon.
Exactly. It's going to happen when they want it to happen, of course. That's how things go. But thinking logistically and how things would work, it would make just the most sense if you had it happen maybe at the Rumble. Have them eliminate one of the Shield members at the Rumble. Maybe have it, he gets pushed into Roman while Roman's on the outside, or more like Seth. While Seth's on the outside. Seth falls out of the ring. Oh no, Dean just technically eliminated Seth. What does this mean? What?
Now here's the thing. If you have or have not read the book Creating the Mania, written by
I can't read.
Written by John Robinson. It was about how all the different matchups of this WrestleMania came together. It's a backstage look, and he does write that Seth Rollins originally was not supposed to be challenging for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, but Dean Ambrose was originally supposed to turn heel, and then him and Seth were going to feud leading into Mania. Mm-hmm. So maybe they do that again this year. Now remember, Seth and Dean were tag team champions going into the new year, so they can still have them together going into the new year and just do everything they had planned out in 2018 to lead up to the 2019 WrestleMania.
Very true. Very, very true. They're at such a extremely tough state right now with Dean Ambrose, because people love Dean Ambrose. I mean, people love him. He's so over.
Well, especially since he just came back.
But not only because he just came back, but because he's such a in his lunatic state, almost a very relatable character. He's just a guy that goes out with his jeans and his wife beater and will literally beat the crap out of you.
Right.
And I bet there's a lot of people that are like, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's wearing the jeans and the wife beater and beating up people because I had a really rough day at work. And it's one of those he's one of the more characters that aren't characters.
I can see that.
Just like how Stone Cold was a character that wasn't a character. Stone Cold portrayed himself as, I'm just a guy that likes drinking beer and kicking ass.
Exactly.
Dean Ambrose is, I'm just a guy who enjoys doing a move that was once called the wacky line and kicking ass. And I think they need to realize that before he turns.
Right.
And I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm really excited to see what can happen with it, but it's just a matter of how they choose to do it. Because in all honesty, Dean, if they do it right and they let Dean do what Dean does best, I guarantee you he's a future Hall of Fame guy.
Well, I mean, anybody in WWE is a future Hall of Fame guy. I mean, look, they got Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame. No offense.
You know, that's very true. And that's what I've got to say about, Raw and SmackDown this week. We mentioned just now Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
You know who was inducted into the TNA Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Well, is about to be inducted.
Is about to be inducted. I'm sorry. Duh.
It's the Monster Abyss.
It's the Abyss was like the first wrestler I was ever scared of. I was physically scared of Abyss when I would watch TNA because I was like, this dude's horrifying. Oh my God. Oh, absolutely. He was, because I felt like with Kane, the mask covered his face. With Abyss, only part of it covered his face. Why only part of it? Why can I only see part of this guy's face? It's scary.
It was like a Mankind mask.
I'm like 7 years old. Well, I wasn't alive when Mankind was wrestling.
True.
I wasn't alive yet. In my dad's nutsack, I'm fearing Mankind.
Yikes.
I'm shriveling up. But Abyss is probably one of the most legendary guys in my opinion, because
from TNA,
he had that from TNA, who had that natural ability to like visit. I mean, his finishing move was the Black Hole Slam, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So we're gonna send you over to an interview with Abyss that the guys over at Fightful did. I hope you guys enjoy. Take it away, folks.
Let's talk about your expanded role backstage. You were at their most recent pay-per-view, producing and working as an agent and handling things like that, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. Slammiversary.
I mean, that had Abyss's fingerprints all over it. That show.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was as you know, it got, that show got more buzz and more positive response than anything we've done in a long time. So I looked at it as almost like a building block, for us to really catapult ourselves into Bound for Glory in October and to moving into the next year. And, so it did have a lot of fingerprints of certain guys on it as well. And I think the feeling is that we're going to do some stuff that other companies aren't doing, and kind of make ourselves a little bit different and do things that, like I said, other companies aren't doing. And I think you saw the result in that in Slammiversary. And, I think that'll be a mainstay of what we do, in certain spots at the right times, going forward.
Considering you've been around so long and through some ups and downs, what does it mean to you to have a show like that be received with such universal acclaim? It was the buzz of wrestling that entire night. The next day, I mean, I didn't meet anybody who didn't like it.
Yeah, me neither. And it's a great feeling, man. I've been around when the reviews were the exact opposite, man. I've been there when things weren't good. And I've been there when I was a part of things when we weren't being as well received as we were last Sunday at Slammiversary. So I've seen both sides of it. And, even our most harshest critics were very positive about Slammiversary. So that was really exciting, and I think it made us feel confident that we're onto something and we're doing things right and doing things different. And like I said, I think we're just trying to make ourselves different and do a different presentation. And I think you saw it Sunday, and I think we're going to continue to build off of that and into Bound for Glory.
When an Abyss signs a new contract, does Joseph Park look it over for him?
Oh God, yeah, of course, man. I've got my own built-in in-house legal, man. Just turn it right on over, and he handles the whole thing for me.
that seems like the type of thing that Impact Wrestling on air should probably approach. Like, Abyss has to make sure he's getting the right deal. I mean, loyalty's one thing, but you got to make sure you got to make sure the specifics are in there.
And if you guys enjoyed that, you can see the full interview on the Fightful YouTube channel, or of course, Fitful Fought Fom.
Fitful? Huh?
Fitful Fought Fom.
Fightful.
Fightful.com. Now, over this last weekend, Tim and I had the amazing opportunity to cover New Japan Pro Wrestling's Fighting Spirit Unleashed in Long Beach, California at the Walter Pyramid. It was a really, really, really good time, and I loved it to death. Even though I was extremely tired by the time I got home from long drives and long bus rides and not eating, I was really tired when I got and we had the fortunate chances to talk to a ton of people, guys like Sean Graben, who's a media representative from Access. Sean's got a little bit about to write Access in New Japan. A lot of people have been questioning, why didn't the show that was in California air live? Well, you guys might find out right now. So, Tim, take it away.
So Sean Ross Sapp writes the following.
Oh, my God.
Huh?
Good Lord. Sean Ross Sapp!
So Sean Ross Sapp writes the following. New Japan Pro Wrestling in the States was a bit different this time around from a media perspective. There was very little promotion or buzz leading into the event, specifically by the usual ultra-supportive Access TV end of things. All previous shows have featured pre-show media calls, honestly, some of the best and smoothly run in wrestling, and many featured talent interviews as well. Access TV didn't show the event live. Instead, they ran X Factor UK. Now, if you're unaware, excuse me, they do have a deal where they air X Factor UK on Access TV Sunday nights and Monday nights. Sean goes on to write that media weren't told of any pre-show access, and some were even referred to meet and greet ticket sales, which is very unusual. And what he means there is when they did the show in San Francisco, the G1 special, the day before they had a press conference and they did media Q&A with some of the wrestlers.
Yeah,
this time,
super awesome.
Right. This time, they didn't do the press conferences or the media Q&A. When I did ask Sean of Access TV about that, I said, hey, are you guys doing the media stuff the day before? And he goes, unfortunately, we don't have access to the wrestlers the day before, but you can go buy a $30 to $60 meet and greet ticket. Here's the link. So,
and that was you, Tim, talking to Sean.
Right, I asked him directly that.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up just in case some people are listening to it.
Yeah. Sean goes on to write, from an execution standpoint, I'm told things went smoothly for the most part.
Yeah.
Media were given access to the post-match pressers as that's a New Japan handled a thing anyways. New Japan Pro Wrestling's lack of promotion and media relations in the United States could be contributed in part to the departure of George Carroll earlier this year, who helped a lot in that regard. The only thing different from a post-match perspective was that last time around, everyone came in and took questions, but this time it was far fewer. So what he means there as well, and, you know, Nick and I are in the media room waiting for a wrestler to come in after their match. For example, Marty Scurll. No. For example, let's go Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Him or Jeff Cobb. So last time they would come in, everybody answered questions. This time, we're taking Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, for example. They come in, cut their promo, boom, they're out in less than 90 seconds. So that was the difference there. I mean, there were guys that fielded questions. Cody fielded questions.
Yeah, he got Cody brought up our friends from over at In the Click to sit up there on the stage with them.
Bimbo Jimbo. And
he looked like such a dope.
I mean, Omega and Ibushi, mainly Omega because of the language thing. Omega fielded questions for a good 15 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
And so did Daniels and Kazarian. So, I mean, the difference there is last time, everybody answered questions. Mm-hmm. This time, it was like split 60-40. 60 answered, 40 didn't. Maybe a little closer to 50-50. But overall, it was a great experience, a great show. I loved it. I loved being there. I loved covering it as media.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, and I really again we extend our thanks to the people that helped get it set up.
Yeah, Access TV for setting it up, for taking care of the media people backstage as well. Not just saying, hey, here you go, you can record these interviews, but they hooked everything up.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I had a great time, and I'm looking forward for the opportunity to do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into this edition of the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. We will leave you with a clip from the list and your boyski. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great weekend. I love you. Goodbye.
And so I wanted to touch upon this. So things are different now compared to, say, 2009. The examples that Bryan gave, one was 2009 with Nigel McGuinness, one was 2012 with Randy Orton. Things are very different now in terms of internet trolling than they were in 2009 and 2012. And so that's number one. Number two, most wrestling fans, and this is, I don't mean any disrespect, because you know I have a lot of respect for wrestlers and for what they go through and the schedules and everything. Most wrestling fans do not look at Brie Bella as a wrestler.
Yeah,
they look at her as being a reality TV personality who happens to be married to a wrestler and who got her notoriety through wrestling after she was a model kind of thing. They don't look at her as a Daniel Bryan style wrestler. And again, I'm not defending the internet troll, Sean. I'm not defending the people that shit on Brie because they shouldn't. Yeah. But it's apples and oranges for Bryan to kind of try to draw that comparison. And then
she gets some creepy stuff, I'm sure.
I'm sure she did, and she didn't deserve it because it was an accident. She didn't mean to do it, but it's just not a fair comparison. And then the other thing is the examples that Bryan gave, there was a 3-year gap between them, between 2009 and 2012. Brie, weekly since she came back, whether it was the running knee at Zelina Vega, whether it was the suicide dive where she almost broke her own neck, now the S-kicks with Liv Morgan. It's been a weekly thing with Brie. Now, I'm not shitting on Brie Bella, and we talked about it last week, and I told you it was an accident. She didn't mean to do it. But the fact of the matter is she's going to hurt somebody or herself because she's too rusty and she's too reckless and she should not be in the ring. And it's not a shot at her. I'm not saying, Brie Bella, fuck you. I'm just saying she shouldn't be in the ring when she's unsafe and she's going to hurt somebody or hurt herself.
I think that's where you draw the line. You don't need to target both of the Bellas. I mean, Nikki is just fine in the ring. I enjoy her work. You don't need to make personal attacks. Ultimately, you are a public figure, so you have to expect some of that. Jimmy, you and I get real weird shit on social media, so that...
Yeah, the only difference is I don't respond to it like you do.
Oh, man, I'm so sensitive.
I had to throw that in, Nigel.
Wow, look how sensitive he is. Oh, wow.
I mean, he's doing it right now, Nigel. You see that?
You're making a
He's proving it right now.
You're making a talking point all the time, and I keep on into doing it. Jimmy, if I sent you a quarter of the shit that I got, you would change your fucking tone.